Yeah. So what happens? Yeah, certainly there'll be loading involved in trying to get. We're always trying to cut down on the amount of loading we have, but certainly you're going to have to stream in new cells and new geometry to be able to do that. So, but what happens is that the story unlocks the zones in sequence, right? So in fact, you'll play in, for example, the yellow zone. When you're done those story missions, it will unlock, the green zone. Once you've unlocked the zone, you can go back and forth between them. So you can go back and play open world missions or get powers and decide to go back into the other zone with more powers and play in a sandbox world or the open world. Right. Well, certainly they're a good size each, so it's not like they're so small that they won't be interesting. But I think for us, what was important is if you look at the first prototype, we had that large Manhattan area that was fully open, which meant as a player, right from the very beginning, I could explore the whole entire world. And there's something, it's something that kind of lacks that excitement and anticipation of what may come next if you can just suddenly see everything at once, right? And we really wanted to make sure someone understood and experienced what was going on somewhere. And it lends itself to the story because each of the zones in many respects changes the story or impacts the story, or the story drives you into those zones for a specific reason. So it was really both story and both because we wanted people to experience those worlds. Well, certainly, it's hard not to have the kind of fantasy we have and not to have some of that kind of brutal combat. I think what was important to us is we wanted to broaden the experience, and that's why we have the hunting and we have the new stealth-based puzzle gameplay, is because we wanted to give players a certain amount of choice to not always have to be brutal in order to achieve your objective. I really think is important. I mean, the combat stuff is a part that makes it really cool and everything. And certainly, I want to make sure that I get Prototype 2 into the hands of everyone in Germany. So, I'm not personally dealing with, the negotiations, everything around that. And I believe that probably sometime soon everyone will find out about Prototype 2. But let's say that we're working very hard, and I certainly want everyone in Germany to have a chance to play this game.
But you as a developer, are you aware of the whole rating problems sometimes we get here in Germany?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of, a bunch of different territories have their own rating systems in some cases, and certainly I understand that in some places there's restrictions on violence and all those kind of things. Again, because I personally don't really deal with the area myself, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to say the wrong things and speak incorrectly about it. But, at the same time, I think there's always a growing understanding about some of the games as well, and you're kind of seeing that happen in territories where they're adopting and changing their rating rules because of it, and you're seeing some games that before may not have actually passed that are now passing. And I think that's coming really, it's speaking a lot to the maturity of the games industry, right, and also to the rating systems as well. So, I'm very, very hopeful that we'll be able to get all our games everywhere, and I believe we will because we'll try very hard to. So I'm certainly crossing my fingers.
Okay. Okay.